The rifle was slick with sweat in Elena's hands. 3 feet away, Garrett Bishop smiled like he'd already won. "Pull that trigger, you hang," he said. "Montana doesn't forgive women who kill men, even men like me." "Maybe." Elena's finger tightened. "But I'm already dead if I don't." Marcus Thornfield's voice cut through the cabin. "Elena, don't." She didn't look at him. Couldn't. Because if she did, Garrett would move, and she'd lose her only chance. "Put it down, girl," Garrett purred. "Be reasonable." Reasonable died in the snow 3 months ago. Now hit subscribe and comment your city. You need to see how we got here, because this story, it doesn't start with a gun. It starts with a corpse and a woman nobody wanted. Marcus's hammer struck hot iron when the horse screamed. Not a normal sound. Terror. Pure animal terror. He dropped the hammer. It clanged against stone. Damn it. Outside wind tore at the door. February in Montana. The kind of cold that killed. Marcus grabbed his coat. Catherine's stitching along the collar caught his thumb. 3 years dead. He still wore her work. The door fought him. He shoved through. Blizzard. Couldn't see 5 feet. Snow cut his face like glass. The horse screamed again. Closer. Wrong direction. That was Edmund Walsh's land. Old Edmund who'd been dead 6 weeks now. Marcus whistled. His gelding Flint came out of the barn, already spooked. Easy. Marcus swung into the saddle. Someone stupider than us tonight. They pushed into white. Wind tried to rip him off the horse. He held tight. Then he saw it. A shape. Dark against snow. Face down. Not moving. No! 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 Marcus hit the ground running. Stumbled. Snow to his knees. He reached her. Woman. Young. Frozen. Her fingers were locked around a leather bag. Ice in her hair. Blue lips. He touched her neck. Nothing. Wait. There. Faint. A pulse like a dying bird. "Ma'am." He shook her shoulder. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" Nothing. He turned her over. Her eyes cracked open. Just slits. Brown eyes. Desperate. "Please," she whispered. Accent. Thick. Russian, maybe. Parker Ranch. Marcus's gut dropped. Parker Ranch. Edmund Walsh's place. Edmund who'd died alone. Edmund who... Oh, God. "When did you leave?" Marcus asked. "When did you start traveling?" "November." Her voice was barely there. "Letter said he'd meet me." "November. Before Edmund died. Before anyone knew he was dying. She'd traveled 2,000 miles to marry a dead man." "He's gone," Marcus said. "I'm sorry. He died 6 weeks ago." Her face crumpled. Not crying. Past crying. Just breaking. "No." The word was a breath. "No, everything I gave." Then her eyes rolled back. "Hey! Hey!" Marcus grabbed her face. "Stay with me." No response. He got her on Flint. Barely. She was dead weight. He climbed up behind her, pulled her against his chest. Ice. She was ice in his arms. He ripped off his coat, wrapped it around her, pressed her close. Her breathing stopped. "No, you don't." Marcus squeezed her ribs. Hard. Once. Twice. She gasped, choked, started breathing again. Barely. "Come on!" He spurred Flint. "Don't quit. Not tonight. Not after coming this far." Her head fell against his shoulder. He felt her breath on his neck. Shallow. Getting shallower. "Talk to me." He shook her slightly. "What's your name?" "Nothing." "Your name." "E." The sound died. "E. What?" "Elena. Emma." "Lena." "Elena." "Good. I'm Marcus. You're going to live, Elena. You hear me? You're going to live because I didn't ride into a blizzard to watch you die." No answer. His cabin appeared, lights in the window. He'd left the fire going. He kicked the door open. Didn't bother tying Flint. The horse knew to stay. Inside. Warmth hit like a wall. He carried her to his bedroom, laid her on the bed. Her dress was frozen solid. He grabbed his knife. Sorry about this. He cut the dress off. Fast. Efficient. Didn't look more than necessary. Wrapped her in his flannel shirt. Piled every blanket he owned on top. Then he stoked the fire. Higher, hotter, heated water, filled glass bottles, tucked them around her. Made broth. Tried to get it in her mouth. Most spilled. Some went down. Then nothing left to do. He sat. Watched her breathe. Counted each breath. 1, 2, 3, please. 4, 5, don't die. 6, 7. The storm screamed outside. Inside, fire crackled. And this stranger, this woman who'd crossed an ocean for nothing, fought for her life in his dead wife's bed. Marcus picked up the paper still clutched in her hand. Letter. Edmund's writing. Dear Elena, I know we haven't met, but I hope this letter finds you well. Montana is hard country, but it's honest. I can offer you a home, safety, a fresh start. That's worth something, isn't it? I'll meet you at the station. December 15th. Yours, Edmund Walsh. December 15th. Today was February 3rd. She'd been traveling for months, waiting at stations, asking for a man who was already dead. You shouldn't be here, Marcus whispered, looked at her unconscious face. He's gone. There's nothing here for you. But she was here, and somehow she was still breathing. T'ancien. Morning came gray. Marcus jerked awake. He'd fallen asleep in the chair. Her breathing had changed, stronger. He stood, stretched. His back screamed. Then her eyes opened. Not slow, fast, panicked. She saw him, tried to sit up, collapsed back. Easy. Marcus raised his hands. You're safe. She looked around. At the cabin, the quilts, him. Where? Her voice was rough. My cabin, 2 miles from the Parker Ranch. Edmund. She said it like a prayer. Where's Edmund? No easy way. Dead, 6 weeks ago. Heart gave out. He watched her face shatter. She turned away, shoulders shaking, silent sobs. Marcus stood there, useless. He'd never been good with crying women. Catherine used to laugh about it. I'll make food, he said. He left her alone. In the kitchen, he made broth. Heard her crying through the wall. Each sob felt like an accusation. He should have known. Should have checked on Edmund more. Should have found his correspondence. Should have stopped this somehow. He brought the food back. She'd stopped crying, sat against the headboard. His shirt hung off her shoulders. Thank you, she said, formal, distant, for saving me. Couldn't leave you. Many would. He set the tray down. I'm not many. She looked at him, really looked. He felt suddenly aware of his appearance. Hadn't shaved, shirt wrinkled, hands scarred from forge work. I am Elena Petrov. She said it like a confession. From St. Petersburg. I came to marry Edmund Walsh. Marcus Thornfield. I run the blacksmith shop. You found me in the snow. Heard your horse. Is it? Didn't make it. I'm sorry. Fresh pain crossed her face. I bought that horse in Missouri. They said it was strong. Not strong enough for here. Nothing is. She picked up the broth, hands shaking, sipped slow. Marcus watched, noticed everything. Dark hair, delicate wrists, the way she held the bowl like it might disappear. What will you do? He asked. I don't know. Small voice. I spent everything to come here. I have $43, that's all. Family back east. Headshake. I left Russia to escape family. An arranged marriage. Cruel man. Edmund's letters promised choice, freedom. He was honest, Marcus said. Would have kept his word. But he's dead. Yeah. She set down the bowl. I cannot stay here. It isn't proper. Can't leave either. Storm's breaking, but another's coming. Winter here lasts till April. You're too weak to travel. Got nowhere to go anyway. Then what? Marcus ran his hand through his hair. Got a second room. Used to be my workshop. You could stay there, till you heal, till you figure things out. Suspicion flickered in her eyes. Why? Because it's right. Men don't do right for free. Bitterness in her voice, stories he didn't need to hear. Not asking for anything, he said. You need help. I can give it, that's all. She studied him. Long moment. Okay, she said finally. But I repay you, somehow. Focus on living first. 3 days later, Elena was up. Marcus heard her moving around. He knocked. Come in. She'd rearranged the entire room, made it hers. Feeling better? He asked. Yes, thank you. Formal. Always formal. Need anything? No, I'm fine. He left her alone. Went to work. Came home to find her in his kitchen. What are you doing? She turned from the stove. Cooking. You saved my life. I can make dinner. Don't have to. I know. The food was incredible. Russian dish. Potatoes, herbs, meat. Rich, warm. He ate 3 helpings. Catherine used to cook, he said. Then regretted it. Your wife. Yeah. The quilts on my bed. Her work. Yeah. How did she die? Fever. 3 years ago. 1 week fine, next week gone. Elena's face softened. I'm sorry. Me too. Silence. Then Elena spoke. Edmund's letters mentioned community, neighbors helping neighbors. Is that true? Marcus snorted. Some help, others gossip. They'll talk about me staying here. They'll talk anyway. Doesn't bother you. Stopped caring what people think long ago. When she died. Before, during the war. You fought, Union Army. Did things I can't forget. Saw things I can't unsee. Came back different. Catherine was the only one who didn't look at me like I was broken. You're not broken. How would you know? Because broken men don't ride into blizzards for strangers. His throat tightened. You were awake when I found you. In and out. I remember your voice, telling me to stay, to breathe. I thought this man doesn't know me, but he wants me to live. So I did. The moment stretched. Marcus looked away. You're alive. That's what matters. Why did you say I shouldn't be here? He froze. You heard that? Yes. He stood. Started clearing dishes. Because it's true. Edmund's dead. Nothing here but hard winters and harder people. You should go east when you're well. What if I don't want to? Don't be stupid. Her eyes flashed. Excuse me. You heard me. Going east is smart. Staying here is stupid. That's not your choice. No, but it's my advice. Elena stood too. Faced him across the table. I make my own choices. Then make a smart one. I am. I'm choosing to stay. For how long? Don't know. Maybe a week. Maybe more. And then what? I'll figure it out. That's not a plan? It's my plan. They glared at each other. Finally, Marcus sighed. Get some rest. He left, lay in bed, stared at ceiling. Outside, wind picked up. Inside, a woman who'd traveled across the world to marry a dead man. A woman who made his quiet cabin feel less empty. And Marcus didn't know what the hell to do about it. Week 2 brought routine. Marcus woke early, made coffee. Elena appeared, already dressed, hair braided. They ate, talked about nothing important. He went to work. She stayed, read his books, mended his clothes. He'd come home to repairs he didn't ask for. Don't have to do this. I know. Their exchange, every time. But underneath tension built. Adelaide Chen visited one afternoon. Chinese woman who'd married a Scottish miner, ran the general store. She sat with Elena while Marcus worked outside. "People are talking," Adelaide said. "Let them. They're saying improper things. Are they true? Doesn't matter." Elena set down her sewing. "Then what does matter?" Adelaide leaned forward. "Reputation. For women especially. You're unmarried. Living with an unmarried man. People assume. Marcus has been honorable. I believe you. Others won't." Elena was quiet. "I'm not trying to scare you," Adelaide continued. "Just preparing you. Small towns remember everything. Once your reputation's ruined, it's done." "Who says I'm staying?" Adelaide smiled. "The way you've organized his house says you're staying." After Adelaide left, Elena stood at the window, watched Marcus work, hammering metal. Precise, beautiful movements. She was getting too comfortable. She knew it. This wasn't home. Marcus wasn't hers. This was temporary. But when she imagined leaving, her chest ached. Week 3. Everything changed. A man appeared at Marcus's door, tall, well-dressed, cold eyes. "Thornfield." Not a greeting. Marcus didn't invite him in. "Bishop, what do you want?" "Heard you're harboring Edmund Walsh's bride." "Providing shelter to someone who nearly died. That's all." "That's all." Garrett Bishop smiled. "Because I've got paperwork. Edmund owed me money. His estate needs to settle debts." "Edmund's estate is a run-down ranch and 40 acres of scrub, barely worth the taxes." "True, but he also had an agreement. With the bride. Arrangements were made." Marcus's hands clenched. "Explain." "Edmund promised her passage board marriage. In exchange, she'd help run his ranch. Labor for security. A contract. Since Edmund can't fulfill it, someone else should step up." "Get to the point." "I'll honor Edmund's commitment. Marry the girl. Settle his debts. Simple." "Elena's not property." "Elena." Garrett savored it. "Pretty name. Russian Adelaide tells me. Even better. Always wanted an exotic wife." "Get off my land." "Thornfield, be reasonable." "I said get off my land." Garrett raised his hands. "Fine, but think about it. What can you offer her? Blacksmith wages, small cabin. I've got money, big house, status. I can give her a real life. She'll make her own choice." "Will she? Or are you making it for her, keeping her isolated here?" That landed. Marcus flinched. Garrett saw it. Pressed. "I'll be back in 3 days. I expect an answer." He rode away. Marcus stood there, anger and doubt warring inside. Elena had heard everything. "He's right," she said quietly. Marcus turned. "About what?" "You. What can you offer me long term?" "Nothing. That's why you should go. Soon as road's clear. Head east." "East to what?" "Something real." Elena laughed, bitter. "You want to know what's real?" "What I left in Russia was real. A man who owned me, a family who sold me. That was very real. So forgive me if your simple cabin feels like paradise. It's not about the cabin." "Then what?" "You'll stay because you're grateful." The words exploded out. "Or scared, or got nowhere else. And one day you'll wake up and realize you chose a prison with nicer bars." Silence crashed down. Elena's voice went deadly quiet. "Don't tell me what I feel." "You're right. I don't know you." "Then stop making decisions for me." "I'm not—" "You are." She stepped closer. "You saved my life. That doesn't mean you own it." "That's not what I—" "What then?" Marcus ran his hand through his hair. "I'm afraid you'll stay for the wrong reasons." "And what are the right reasons?" "I don't know." They glared at each other. Finally, Elena spoke. Soft. I want to stay because I choose to. Is that wrong? For how long? I don't know. Does it matter? Yes, because men like Bishop won't stop. They'll keep coming. Eventually, you'll have to choose. Stay as my charity case or marry someone who can provide. Charity case. Elena's laugh was sharp. Is that what you think? That's what everyone thinks. I don't care what everyone thinks. You should. Reputation. Screw reputation. Her accent thickened. I didn't cross an ocean to worry about small-minded gossip. If they want to talk, let them talk. Marcus stared. He'd never heard her curse. But Bishop, he started, can go to hell. I'm not marrying him. Then what will you do? Elena's fire dimmed. Exhaustion replaced it. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. She went to her room. Door closed soft. Marcus stood alone, feeling like he'd lost a fight he didn't understand. 2 days of silence. Marcus left meals outside her door. She took them wordlessly. They orbited each other. Same space. Separate. Day 3. Marcus came home. Elena was gone. Panic seized him. He searched everywhere. Her bag was there. She was nowhere. Then he saw tracks, leading toward town. He saddled Flint, followed, found her at Edmund's place. The house had collapsed under snow. She stood in what used to be the front room, holding something. Elena. She turned, face wet with tears. I wanted to see it, where I was supposed to live. Marcus approached slow. What's in your hand? She showed him. Photograph. Edmund Walsh Younger, standing with a woman, both smiling. His wife, Elena said. I found her picture. She died 20 years ago. Childbirth, baby too. He never mentioned her in letters. No, he wouldn't. Elena looked around the ruin. He was lonely. That's why he wrote me. He wanted family again. He did. You're lonely too. Not a question. Marcus didn't answer. Elena set the photograph down gently. I'm sorry. For fighting. For what I said. You were right. I was deciding for you. You were trying to protect me. Same thing. No. She faced him. Protection is giving someone tools. What you did was build walls. There's a difference. Marcus absorbed that. When Catherine died, I built a lot of walls. I know. You really want to stay with 6-month winters and people who'll judge you. Elena smiled slightly. I've survived worse. That's not an answer. Here's an answer I don't know long term. But short term, I want to stop fighting with the one person who's been kind to me. Marcus nodded. Yeah, okay. They walked back together. Sun setting. Snow pink and gold. Neither spoke, but the silence wasn't hostile. At the cabin, Elena paused. Bishop comes tomorrow. I know. What will you tell him? What do you want me to tell him? Elena's smile was sharp. Tell him I'd rather freeze than warm his bed. Marcus laughed. First real laugh in months. I'll word it diplomatically. Don't bother. I'll tell him myself. Oh, mess. But Garrett didn't come alone. Morning. 4 riders. Garrett and 3 hard-looking men. Marcus saw them from the workshop, set down his hammer, walked to the cabin. Elena was already at the window. Stay inside, he said. No. Elena? No. He's here for me. I face him. She was past him before he could argue. Garrett dismounted smooth, smiled. All predator. Miss Petrov, you look well? Mr. Bishop, you're trespassing. Trespassing on what's mine? This is Marcus Thornfield's land. For now. His eyes slid to Marcus. But property lines are flexible. Marcus stepped forward. What debts? Edmund borrowed $300. Got paperwork. Signed. For what? Improvements. New roof. Fencing. Marcus looked at the collapsed ruin in the distance. What improvements? Garrett's smile didn't waver. Between me and Edmund's estate, which needs settling. And since Miss Petrov was his intended, she's part of that settlement. People aren't property, Elena said. No, but contracts are binding. You agreed to marry Edmund, help run his ranch. Those obligations don't disappear. There's no ranch. True. But there's land, 40 acres, which borders valuable water rights. Water rights I want. Understanding hit Marcus. This was never about Elena. It's about both. Land is business. The lady is pleasure. Garrett's gaze raked over Elena. Marcus saw red. You need to leave, he said. Quiet. Dangerous. Or what 3 against 1 Thornfield. I'll take those odds. Marcus don't, but Marcus was already moving. He didn't go for Garrett, went for the nearest thug. Bull of a man, scarred face, 1 punch, solar plexus. The man went down, gasping. Second man drew a pistol. Elena screamed. Marcus kicked, caught his wrist. Gun flew, another punch, down. Third man was smart. Grabbed Elena, yanked her against him, knife to her throat. Everyone froze. Better, Garrett said pleasantly. Now let's talk civilized. Marcus's hands stayed fists, but he didn't move. Couldn't. Not with that blade on her skin. Here's what happens, Garrett continued. Miss Petrov comes with me, voluntarily. Nice wedding. I forget Edmund's debts. Everyone wins. Except me, Elena said, voice steady despite the knife. I don't win. You'll have a home, security. What more does a woman need? Choice. Garrett laughed. Choice is luxury. You're a foreign woman with no money. I'm offering survival. She has that, Marcus said. With you. For how long? Till next winter. Till gossip drives her away. Till you decide she's too much trouble. Marcus's jaw clenched. Elena felt the knife press harder. She made a decision. Let me go, she told the man holding her. I'll consider his offer. Marcus's head snapped toward her. Elena, no. Quietly. She cut him off. Let him speak. The knife man looked at Garrett. Garrett nodded. The blade withdrew. Elena walked calmly between Marcus and Garrett. You want me to consider your proposal? She asked. Yes. Answer one question honestly. Ask. Elena's eyes locked on his. If I marry you, am I a wife or a possession? Garrett's smile was answer enough. That's what I thought. Elena turned to Knife Man. You. Name? The man blinked. Cobb. Mr. Cobb. Married. Yes, ma'am. Love your wife. Confusion. I suppose. Would you force her into marriage against her will? Cobb shifted. Didn't answer. Elena addressed all 3. You're being paid to intimidate a woman into marriage. Does that sit right? Make you proud? Silence. Enough, Garrett snapped. You're coming with me. No, Elena said. I'm not. Garrett's hand moved toward his gun. Marcus stepped in front of Elena. Then Cobb spoke. Boss, we should go. Garrett whirled. What? This ain't right. Forcing a lady. Didn't sign up for this. You signed up for whatever I pay you for. Cobb's hand rested on his gun. Not this. The other 2 stepped back from Garrett. Garrett's face flushed. You're all fired. Get out. The 3 mounted, rode away, leaving Garrett alone. He turned back, fury in his eyes. This isn't over. Yeah, Marcus said. It is. You think you can keep her. I'm a landowner. You're a blacksmith. I have resources, connections. I'll make your lives hell. Try. Garrett pointed at Elena. You're making a mistake. A big one. When you're starving next winter, don't come crying. I won't. Garrett mounted violently, jerked the reins. Edmund's land is mine. The debt's real. I'll foreclose within the month. Do it! One last glare. Then Garrett rode away. The moment he was gone, Elena's knees buckled. Marcus caught her. I've got you. She was shaking, adrenaline catching up. That was stupid. That was brave. Same thing. Marcus helped her to the porch. They sat. Neither spoke. Finally, Elena broke silence. He's right about the land. If he forecloses, he owns water rights. Could hurt other ranchers. Let them handle it. But, not your problem. Not your fight. She looked at him. When does it become my fight? What? When do I stop being a visitor? When do I become part of this community? Is that what you want? I think so. Why? Because for the first time I could build something. Something mine. Not my family's. Not a husband's. Mine. Marcus was quiet. Then, Edmund's land. 40 acres. If someone proved his debt was fraudulent, ownership would transfer to next of kin. He has none. No. But he had an intended bride, with signed correspondence. Elena stared. You think I could claim it? Maybe, if we prove Bishop's paperwork is fake, which I'm betting it is. How? Town records, witnesses. Adelaide might help. Hope flickered. Long shot. Better than nothing, she smiled. You'd help me fight. Someone's got to keep you from doing stupid, brave things. Elena laughed. Okay, she said. Let's fight. Marcus offered his hand. Partners. Elena took it. Partners. Their hands held a moment too long. Neither mentioned it. Both noticed. And outside, snow started falling again. But inside the cabin, something warmer than fire began to grow. Something neither of them had names for yet, but it was there. Undeniable. Adelaide Chen showed up 2 days later with a crate of supplies and a warning. They're saying things in town, she said, setting down jars of preserves on Marcus's table. About you two. Elena looked up from the ledger she'd been studying. Edmund's ledger. Found it in the ruins of his house. What kind of things? The kind that stick. Adelaide glanced at Marcus, who was sharpening a blade by the fire. Mrs. Hendricks told half the church that Elena's a kept woman. Reverend Cotton suggested Marcus should do the honorable thing and marry her, or send her away. Marcus's knife stopped mid-stroke. Cotton can mind his own damn business. That's what I told him. Adelaide pulled out a chair, sat without invitation. But he's not wrong about the optics. Unmarried woman, unmarried man, same roof. People will assume. Let them assume, Elena said. Adelaide leaned forward. It's not that simple. Last woman who got labeled like that, Mary Chen, no relation. Chinese girl who worked at the saloon. Respectable job, just serving drinks. Took her 2 years to shake the reputation. She ended up leaving Montana entirely. I'm not leaving. Then you need to be smart. Adelaide pulled out a folded paper. I've been asking around about Garrett Bishop's so-called loan to Edmund. Marcus stood. And nobody remembers Edmund borrowing money. Not from Bishop. Not from anyone. Adelaide smoothed the paper. I checked with the land office. There's no record of any transaction between them. No promissory note filed. Nothing. Elena's pulse quickened. So it's fake. Probably, but proving it's different than knowing it. What do we need? Marcus asked. Witnesses, documentation, something that shows Edmund's financial state before he died. Adelaide looked at Elena. Did he mention money in his letters? Elena nodded slowly. He said he was comfortable. Not wealthy, but stable. Said he'd saved enough to support a wife. You still have those letters. Everyone. Adelaide's eyes lit up. That's evidence. If Edmund claimed financial stability and correspondence, and there's no record of debt, Bishop's story falls apart. Marcus crossed his arms. Bishop's not stupid. He wouldn't make a claim without some kind of documentation. Then his documentation is forged. Adelaide stood. Which means we find proof it's forged. How? Elena asked. Edmund kept records, meticulous ones. If he borrowed money, he'd have written it down. If we find his books and there's no mention of Bishop, we've got our proof. Elena held up the ledger she'd been reading. Like this. Adelaide grabbed it, flipped through pages. Her finger traced lines of Edmund's careful handwriting. Income, expenses, savings, every transaction documented. Nothing about Garrett Bishop. Nothing about a $300 loan. Adelaide looked up grinning. This is it. This proves Bishop's lying. Will a judge accept it? Marcus asked. Judge Morrison's fair, honest. He'll listen. Elena felt hope surge, then crash. But Morrison's in Billings. 2 days' ride. How do we get there? I'll take you, Marcus said immediately. In winter, the roads. I've traveled worse. Adelaide shook her head. You can't both go. Someone needs to stay here, protect the property. Bishop's the type to burn a place down if nobody's watching. Marcus and Elena exchanged looks. I'll go, Elena said. It's my claim. I should present it. You can't travel alone, Marcus argued. She won't be. Adelaide picked up her coat. I'm going to Billings anyway. Supply run. We'll go together. Marcus didn't like it. Elena could see it in the set of his jaw, the way his hands clenched. But he nodded. When? 3 days. That gives us time to prepare. After Adelaide left, Marcus turned to Elena. You sure about this? No, but I'm doing it anyway. That seems to be your approach to everything. Elena almost smiled. It's worked so far. Marcus wasn't smiling. Bishop's dangerous. If he finds out you're trying to prove his claim is fraudulent, then I'd better move fast. Elena. She met his eyes. What? Just be careful. Something in his voice made her chest tight. I will. Promise me. I promise. But promises were easier made than kept. The next morning, Elena woke to voices outside. Angry voices. She grabbed her shawl and rushed out. Marcus was on the porch, facing 3 men on horseback. Not Bishop's men. These were ranchers, local ones. She recognized 2 from town. What's going on? She asked. The lead rancher, a grizzled man named Tom Ferris, spat into the snow. Came to talk sense into Thornfield here. About what? About you staying here. It ain't right. Elena's spine stiffened. My living arrangements are none of your business. They are when it affects the whole valley. Ferris shifted in his saddle. Bishop's been making noise. Says he's got legal claim to Edmund's land. That includes water rights. If he gets control of that creek, he can shut off half our ranches. Marcus's voice was cold. And that's Elena's fault, How? She's the one who came here. The one who's got Bishop all riled up. Bishop was going after that land before Elena arrived. Marcus shot back. Don't blame her for his greed. Maybe so. But she's making it worse. If she'd just married Bishop like he wants, this whole thing would be over. Elena stepped forward. So I should marry a man I don't love to make your lives easier. Ain't about love. It's about survival. This valley survives by working together. You're disrupting that. I'm disrupting it by existing. Ferris's face reddened. By being selfish. You got options. We don't. We got families here. Ranches that been in families for generations. We can't just pick up and leave if Bishop shuts off our water. Marcus moved between Elena and the ranchers. You came to my property to tell a woman she should marry someone against her will. That about sum it up. We came to make you see reason. I see it fine. And I see you're trespassing. Leave. Ferris's hand moved toward his rifle. Marcus didn't flinch. You really want to do this, Tom? A long moment. Then Ferris spat again. This ain't over, Thornfield. Valley's going to remember where you stood when things got hard. They rode off. Elena was shaking, not from fear, from rage. They blame me, she said. They actually blame me for Bishop's greed. They're scared, Marcus said quietly. Scared people lash out. I haven't done anything wrong. I know. So why do I feel like I have? Marcus turned to her. Because you've got a conscience. They're counting on that. Counting on you feeling guilty enough to sacrifice yourself. Should I? No. Even if it would help them. Even then. Marcus's voice was fierce. You don't owe them your life. You don't owe anyone that. Elena wanted to believe him, but doubt crept in. What if she was being selfish? What if marrying Bishop really would solve everything? She pushed the thought away, went inside, started packing for the trip to Billings. But the doubt stayed. That night, Marcus found her in the workshop. She was organizing supplies, methodically, too methodically. You're having second thoughts, he said. Not a question. I'm thinking, Elena replied, about what Ferris said. Yes. Marcus sat on the workbench. Tell me what you're thinking. Elena set down the canteen she'd been filling. What if they're right? What if the easiest solution is for me to just give in? Marry Bishop? Yes. You'd be miserable. I'd be useful. That's not the same thing. Elena turned to face him. In Russia, women are taught to be useful, to make sacrifices for the greater good, to put family and community above ourselves. It's what I was raised to do. And look how that turned out. You ran halfway across the world to escape it. Maybe I was wrong to run. Marcus stood, crossed to her in 2 strides. Look at me. She did. Sacrificing yourself doesn't make you noble, he said. It makes you a victim, and victims don't build new lives. They just trade one prison for another. But if I fight this, people will suffer. People suffer anyway. That's not on you. Isn't it? No. His hands gripped her shoulders, gentle but firm. Bishop's greed is on Bishop. The rancher's fear is on them. You didn't create this situation. You don't have to fix it by destroying yourself. Elena felt tears prick. What if I can't fix it at all? Then you can't. But at least you'll still be you. The words hit something deep. Elena closed her eyes. When she opened them, Marcus was still there, still watching her with those steady gray eyes. How do you know what to say? She whispered. I don't. I'm making it up as I go. She almost laughed. Almost. You're better at this than you think. At what? Caring. Marcus's hands dropped. He stepped back. I'm not. You are. Whether you want to admit it or not. Silence stretched between them. Then Marcus cleared his throat. Get some rest. Long ride tomorrow. He left. Elena stood alone in the workshop, touched her shoulders where his hands had been. They were still warm. The next 2 days passed in preparation. Adelaide arrived with a wagon. They loaded supplies. Elena packed Edmund's ledger carefully, wrapped it in oilcloth to protect it from snow. Marcus checked the wagon 3 times, made sure the axles were solid, the horses well fed and rested. You're nervous, Elena observed. I'm practical. You're nervous. He didn't deny it again. Morning of departure came too fast. Elena stood by the wagon. Marcus handed her a package wrapped in brown paper. What's this? Open it later. Marcus, later. Adelaide climbed onto the wagon seat. We need to go. Want to make the first way station before dark. Elena turned to Marcus. Wanted to say something. Didn't know what. He spoke first. Be safe. I will. And if Bishop shows up, I'll handle it. Elena. She met his eyes. I'll be safe. I promise. He nodded, stepped back. The wagon started moving. Elena looked back once. Marcus was still standing there, watching her go. She faced forward. Didn't look back again. The road to Billings was rough. Frozen ruts and patches of ice. The wagon jolted constantly. Elena gripped the seat to keep from being thrown. Adelaide drove with practiced ease. She'd made this trip dozens of times. You and Marcus, Adelaide said after an hour of silence. You're more than friends. Elena stiffened. We're partners, in the land claim. Mm-hmm. That's all. If you say so. It is. Adelaide smiled. I've been married 20 years. I know what two people look like when they're trying not to fall for each other. We're not. Trying very hard, I'd say. Elena felt heat in her cheeks. It doesn't matter. I can't stay in Montana forever. Once this land claim is settled, I'll move on. Where? I don't know. East, maybe. Find work. Build something. You're building something now. That's temporary. Why? Elena didn't have an answer. They rode in silence for a while. Then Adelaide spoke again. My husband died 2 years ago. Mine collapse. He went in to save 3 men trapped inside, got them out. Tunnel collapsed on him after. I'm sorry. Me too. Every day. Adelaide's voice was steady. But here's what I learned. Temporary is all we ever have. Every moment is temporary. So the question isn't how long something lasts. It's whether you live it fully while it's here. Elena absorbed that. You think I should stay? I think you should decide what you want, not what's practical, not what's expected, what you actually want. I want... Elena stopped. Did she even know? Think about it, Adelaide said. We've got 2 days. They reached the first way station at dusk. Small building, 6 rooms, run by a widow named Mrs. Greer. She took one look at Elena and frowned. You're the Russian girl, the one staying with Marcus Thornfield. Word traveled fast, apparently. Yes, Elena said. Mrs. Greer showed them to a room, 2 beds, clean but sparse. Supper's in an hour. You'll share a table with the other guests. The other guests turned out to be 2 traveling salesmen and a young couple heading to Billings to visit family. Dinner was awkward. The salesmen stared at Elena, whispered to each other. Finally, one spoke up. You really living in sin with that blacksmith? Adelaide's fork hit her plate. Hard. Careful. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Elena set down her own fork, met his eyes. I'm staying in Marcus Thornfield's home while I settle a land claim. He's been nothing but honorable. If you're thinking otherwise, that says more about you than him. The salesman flushed. Well, we're done talking. Elena stood. Good night. She left the table, went to the room, sat on the bed and shook. Adelaide came in a few minutes later. You handled that well. I wanted to hit him. I know, so did I. Elena laughed despite herself. Is this what it's going to be like everywhere I go? For a while. Then people will find new gossip, new scandals. You'll become old news. How long? Depends on how interesting you stay. Elena lay back on the bed, stared at the ceiling. I'm exhausted, and we haven't even reached Billings yet. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's a long day. But Elena couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Marcus, about his hands on her shoulders, his voice saying she didn't have to sacrifice herself. She sat up, remembered the package he'd given her. She unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a small leather-bound book, blank pages, and a note. For writing your own story, not the one others expect. M. Elena's throat tightened. She ran her fingers over the smooth leather. Opened to the first page. blank, waiting. She picked up the pencil tucked inside, thought for a moment, then wrote, Chapter 1. The woman in the snow decided to stand. She closed the book, held it against her chest, and for the first time since leaving Russia, Elena felt like herself. Morning came with fresh snow. They loaded up, hit the road. By midday they were making good time. Then the wheel broke. Not broke exactly, cracked, but enough that they had to stop. Can you fix it? Elena asked. Adelaide examined the damage. Maybe, but it'll take time. How much time? Couple hours. We'll miss the Billings deadline. Have to stay another night on the road. Elena's stomach sank. Every delay was dangerous. More time for Bishop to move against them. But there was no choice. They pulled off the road. Adelaide got to work. Elena helped where she could. An hour in riders appeared. 3 of them, not ranchers, not travelers. Hard men with harder eyes. Elena recognized one. He'd been with Bishop that day at Marcus's cabin, the one who'd held the knife to her throat. Cobb. Well, well, Cobb said, dismounting. Miss Petrov, fancy meeting you here. Adelaide stood, placed herself between Elena and the men. Move along, we're just fixing a wheel. Saw that. Thought we'd offer help. Don't need it. Wasn't really offering. Cobb's smile didn't reach his eyes. Mr. Bishop would like a word with Miss Petrov. Mr. Bishop can wait, Elena said, trying to sound braver than she felt. Can he? Cobb stepped closer. Because he seemed pretty insistent. Adelaide's hand moved to her coat. Elena knew she carried a pistol, small one. Probably wouldn't stop 3 men. We're not going anywhere with you, Adelaide said. Now that's disappointing. Cobb nodded to his companions. They spread out, flanking. Elena's heart hammered. They were on an empty road, no help for miles. She stepped forward. If I come with you, you leave Adelaide alone. Elena, no. Yes. Elena cut her off. This is about me, not you. Cobb tilted his head. Smart girl. I have a condition. Do you now? I want to hear what Bishop has to say. If I don't like it, you let me go. No force. Cobb laughed. You're not exactly in a position to negotiate. Neither are you. You shoot us, you've got 2 dead women. That's a hanging offense, even for Bishop's men. Cobb's smile faded. You're bluffing. Am I? Elena held his gaze. Are you willing to bet your neck on it? A long moment. Then Cobb shrugged. Fine, talk only. Then we let you go. Elena, don't trust him, Adelaide hissed. I don't, but I don't have a choice. She climbed onto Cobb's horse. He swung up behind her. They rode for 20 minutes. To a clearing off the main road, and there waiting by a fire was Garrett Bishop. Miss Petrov, he stood, brushed snow off his coat. Thank you for joining me. I didn't have much choice. We always have choices. It's just that some are better than others. He gestured to a log by the fire. Sit, please. Elena sat, kept her distance. Bishop settled across from her. I know what you're doing. The trip to Billings, the land claim, the ledger. Elena's blood ran cold. How? I have friends everywhere, eyes everywhere. You should know that by now. Then you know your claim is fraudulent. Fraudulent? Bishop laughed. Strong word. I prefer creative. You're a liar and a thief. And you're a foreign woman with no rights and no power. So maybe we're both playing roles we don't like. Elena stood. If you're going to threaten me, just do it. I'm tired of games. I'm not threatening you. I'm offering you a deal. I don't want your deals. Hear me out first. Bishop remained seated, calm. You go to Billings, present your evidence, maybe you win. Maybe the judge rules in your favor. You get 40 acres of frozen hell and water rights you don't know how to manage. Then what? That's my concern. Is it because those ranchers who visited Thornfield? They're not going to welcome you with open arms. You'll be the woman who disrupted their lives, made things complicated. They'll make you miserable. I can handle miserable. Can you handle violence? Elena froze. Bishop leaned forward. One of those ranchers, Bill Hendricks, he's got a temper. His ranch is struggling. If he loses water rights, he loses everything. Men like that do desperate things. Are you threatening me or warning me? Both. I'm saying that winning this fight doesn't end your problems. It creates new ones. So I should just give up, let you have the land. No. Bishop stood now, moved closer. You should marry me. Elena stepped back. Never. Hear me out. No. I can protect you, from Hendricks, from the town's judgment, from all of it. Marry me and the land is yours anyway. You get everything you want. Except freedom. Freedom. Bishop laughed. You're a woman in 1891 Montana. You don't have freedom regardless. You have options. And I'm the best option available. You're not even an option. His face hardened. Then you're making a mistake. That's my choice to make. Is it, or is Thornfield making it for you? Elena's temper flared. Marcus has nothing to do with this. Doesn't he? You're staying in his house, wearing his shirts, eating his food. You think that's independence? You've just traded one cage for another. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Bishop's smile returned. Cold. I've been watching you, both of you, the way he looks at you, the way you look at him. You think that's going somewhere. He's a broken man living in the past. He'll never give you what you need. And you will? I'll give you security, status, a real life. I'd rather have nothing. Bishop's expression shifted, anger flashing through. You ungrateful! He stopped himself, took a breath, smoothed his coat. Fine, he said quietly. Go to Billings, present your case, win your 40 acres. But when Hendricks comes for you in the middle of the night, when the town turns against you, when Thornfield realizes you're more trouble than you're worth, don't come crying to me. I won't. We'll see. He nodded to Cobb. Take her back. The ride back was silent. Cobb dropped her off where Adelaide waited. The moment Elena's feet hit ground, Adelaide grabbed her. Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. What did he want? To scare me. Did it work? Elena thought about it. Bishop's words had shaken her, but they'd also clarified something. No, she said. It didn't work. They fixed the wheel, got back on the road. That night at another way station, Elena couldn't sleep again. She kept thinking about what Bishop said, about Marcus, about whether she'd just traded cages. Was she free, or was she just dependent on someone else's kindness? She got up, walked outside. The night was clear, stars bright. She heard footsteps. Adelaide joined her. Can't sleep, Adelaide asked. Too much thinking. Bishop got in your head. Little bit. Adelaide was quiet for a moment. Then, my husband used to say there's two kinds of help. The kind that lifts you up and the kind that holds you down. The first kind gives you tools and steps back. The second kind does everything for you until you forget how to do it yourself. Which kind is Marcus? You tell me. Elena thought about it. Marcus had saved her life, given her shelter. But he'd also taught her to split wood, to recognize weather patterns, to defend herself. He'd given her tools, not solutions. The first kind, Elena said quietly. Adelaide nodded. That's what I thought too. They stood in silence, watching stars. Finally, Elena spoke. I'm scared. Of what? That I'm making a mistake, that I should just leave Montana, start over somewhere easier. You could do that. But you'd spend the rest of your life wondering what if. And that's a cage too. Elena absorbed that. How do you know the right choice? You don't. You just make a choice and work like hell to make it right. Simple, direct, true. Elena smiled for the first time in hours. Thank you. For what? For coming with me. For helping. That's what friends do. Friends. Elena hadn't had a real friend in years, maybe ever. Adelaide? Yeah. If we win this, if I get the land, I'll need help running it. Probably. Would you teach me? Adelaide looked at her. Why would you want an old Chinese widow teaching you ranching? Because you're smart and honest, and you don't treat me like I'm fragile. Adelaide's eyes softened. Yeah, I'll teach you. They went back inside. This time, Elena slept, and dreamed of 40 acres that were hers, really hers. Morning brought Billings. The town was bigger than Elena expected. Actual streets, buildings, people everywhere. They found the courthouse, a serious building, stone and wood. Inside, a clerk directed them to Judge Morrison's office. He was older, gray beard, sharp eyes. Miss Petrov, he asked. Yes, sir. I understand you're contesting a land claim. Yes, sir. Present your case. Elena laid out Edmund's ledger, showed his meticulous records, pointed out the complete absence of any loan from Garrett Bishop. She presented Edmund's letters to her, his claims of financial stability. She explained how Bishop's debt claim appeared only after Edmund's death, only after she'd arrived in Montana. Morrison listened, asked questions, examined documents. Finally, he sat back. This is compelling evidence, Miss Petrov, but it's not conclusive. Bishop could argue Edmund kept separate books, or that the loan was informal. Elena's heart sank. So you won't rule in my favor? I didn't say that. I said it's not conclusive. But there's another way to approach this. How? Edmund died intestate, no will, no heirs. Normally his property would be sold to settle debts and the remainder would go to the territory. But you have documented proof of his intention to marry you. That makes you his common-law fiancé, which gives you standing to inherit. Even though he died before we married. Montana territory has broad common-law provisions. Intent matters, and his letters prove intent. Hope surged. So I can claim the land. If Bishop can't prove his debt is legitimate, yes. I'll issue a ruling requiring him to present his loan documentation within 30 days. If he can't, or if it's proven fraudulent, the land transfers to you. Elena could barely breathe. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Morrison raised a hand. Don't thank me yet. Bishop's not going to take this lying down. Be prepared for a fight. I am. Are you? Morrison's eyes were serious. Because men like Bishop don't fight fair, and Montana law can only protect you so much. I understand. I hope you do. They left the courthouse. Adelaide was grinning. We did it. Not yet. Bishop has 30 days. He won't be able to prove the debt, you know that. I know, but Morrison's right. Bishop won't take this quietly. They started the journey home. Elena should have felt triumphant, but all she felt was dread. Because the real fight was just beginning. And back in that cabin, Marcus was waiting. Marcus, who'd become more than just a friend. Marcus, who'd given her tools to stand on her own. Marcus, who she was starting to realize she didn't want to leave, even after the land was hers, even after she had her freedom. She didn't want to leave him, and that terrified her more than anything Garrett Bishop could do. Marcus saw the wagon before they did. He'd been watching the road for 2 days straight, barely sleeping, working the forge just to keep his hands busy. When the wheels finally appeared through the tree line, he dropped his hammer and ran. Adelaide pulled the horses to a stop. Elena was already climbing down. Well? Marcus asked. His voice came out rougher than intended. Elena's face broke into a smile. Morrison ruled in our favor. Bishop has 30 days to prove his claim or the land is mine. Something in Marcus's chest loosened. He realized he'd been holding his breath for days. That's good. That's real good. Elena stepped closer. We did it. We actually did it. You did it. No. We. She touched his arm. Brief. I couldn't have without... A gunshot cracked the air. Marcus grabbed Elena, pulled her down behind the wagon. Adelaide hit the ground on the other side. Where'd it come from? Elena gasped. Tree line. East side. Marcus scanned the woods. Saw nothing. Another shot. This one hit the wagon wheel. Splintered wood. They're not trying to hit us, Adelaide said. Just scare us. It's working, Elena muttered. Marcus pulled his rifle from the wagon bed. Stay down, both of you. Marcus, don't. But he was already moving, low and fast toward the trees. He'd fought in the war, knew how to read shooters. This one was amateur, firing wild, probably one gun. He circled wide, came up behind where the shots originated, found Bill Hendricks crouched behind a fallen log, rifle shaking in his hands. Put it down, Bill. Hendricks spun, fired, missed by 3 feet. Marcus didn't shoot back, just walked forward. Calm. I said put it down. You don't understand. Hendricks's voice cracked. That water, I need that water. My ranch, my family. Shooting at women won't save your ranch. She's stealing from us. That Russian girl, she's got no right. She's got every right. Judge says so. The judge don't live here, don't know what it's like. Marcus stopped 10 feet away. You're right, he doesn't. But you know what shooting at her makes you a criminal. That'll definitely lose your ranch, guaranteed. Hendricks lowered the rifle, slowly. His hands were still shaking. What am I supposed to do, just watch my family starve? Talk to Elena. Work something out. She's reasonable. She won't listen to me. You haven't tried. Hendricks looked at him. Really looked. You're defending her pretty hard for someone who's just providing shelter. Marcus's jaw tightened. Go home, Bill, before this gets worse. It's already worse. But Hendricks stood, walked away, defeated. Marcus waited until he was gone, then headed back. Elena and Adelaide were still behind the wagon. Elena had Adelaide's pistol in her hand. Is he gone? Elena asked. Yeah. Who was it? Bill Hendricks. Elena's face went pale. The rancher. The one Bishop warned me about. Bishop probably put him up to it. Adelaide stood dusting off her skirt. This is just the beginning. Morrison gave Bishop 30 days. Bishop's going to use every one of them to make Elena's life hell. Marcus knew she was right. We need to be smart. No more trips without protection. No going anywhere alone. I'm not hiding, Elena said. Not hiding, being careful. Same thing. No, it's not. Elena's eyes flashed. Don't start. Start what? Trying to keep you alive. Trying to control me. Marcus threw up his hands. How is wanting you safe the same as controlling you? Because you're making decisions without asking me. I'm making suggestions based on someone just shooting at you. Suggestions that sound like orders. Adelaide stepped between them. Both of you stop. You're on the same side. They glared at each other over Adelaide's head. Finally, Marcus spoke. Fine. What do you want to do? I want to go to Hendricks's ranch. Talk to him. Absolutely not. See? There you go again. Elena, he just shot at you. He missed on purpose. You said yourself he was just trying to scare me. That doesn't mean... If I hide, I prove Bishop right. That I'm weak. That I can't handle this land. I need to show these ranchers I'm not their enemy. Marcus wanted to argue, but he saw the determination in her face. I'm coming with you, he said. Fine. And we go armed. Fine. Adelaide looked between them. You two fight like an old married couple. Both Marcus and Elena turned to glare at her. She smiled. I'll take that as a compliment on my observation skills. They went to Hendrix's ranch the next morning. Marcus drove the wagon. Elena sat beside him. Neither spoke much. The Hendrix place was rough, fences sagging, barn needed paint, the house looked tired. Bill Hendrix came out when he heard the wagon. His wife appeared in the doorway behind him. 3 kids peeked around her skirts. "What do you want?" Hendrix asked. Elena climbed down. "To talk." "Got nothing to say to you." "Then listen." Elena walked forward, stopped 10 feet away. "I know you're scared. I know that water means everything to your ranch, but shooting at me won't fix anything." "Easy for you to say. You got options. We don't." "You think I have options?" Elena's laugh was sharp. "I'm a foreign woman with no money and a piece of land I don't know how to work. I have exactly as many options as you do, maybe less." Hendrix's wife spoke up. "Then why fight for it? Why not just sell to Bishop and go back east?" "Because it's mine." Elena's voice was fierce. "For the first time in my life, something is mine. Not my father's, not a husband's, mine. And I'm not giving that up." "Even if it hurts us?" Hendrix asked. "I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to survive, same as you." "Can't both happen. Not enough water." "Maybe there is. Have you measured the flow? Checked the creek depth? Or are you just assuming?" Hendrix blinked. What?" "The water. Have you actually measured how much is there? Or are you operating on fear and Bishop's lies?" Silence. Elena pressed on. "Because I'm betting Bishop told you if I get Edmund's land, you lose your water. But did he show you proof? Did he show you surveys?" He said a lot of things. Most of them lies." Elena pulled out a paper from her pocket. "This is Edmund's original land survey, shows the creek boundaries. According to this, the water splits before it reaches your ranch. Half goes to Edmund's land, half to yours. It always has." Hendrix took the paper, stared at it. His wife moved closer, looked over his shoulder. "Bill, she's right. Look, the creek forks here." Bishop said. "Bishop lied." Elena finished. "He wants you scared. Wants you to blame me. Because if we're fighting each other, we're not fighting him." Understanding dawned in Hendrix's eyes. "That son of a—" "Yeah," Marcus said. "That's about right." Hendrix looked at Elena. Really looked. "You're saying we can both have water. I'm saying we should measure it properly. Work together. Make sure there's enough for both ranches. And if there's not, then we figure something out, together. But we start with facts, not fear." Hendrix was quiet for a long moment. Then he handed back the survey. "I'm sorry. For shooting at you." "You missed. On purpose, but still. Shouldn't have done it." "No, you shouldn't have." Elena's voice softened. "But I understand why you did." Hendrix's wife stepped forward. "Would you like some coffee? Least we can do." Elena glanced at Marcus. He gave a small nod. "Coffee would be nice," Elena said. They sat in the Hendrix kitchen. It was small, clean. Pictures of the kids on the walls. Mrs. Hendrix poured coffee with shaking hands. "I'm Martha, by the way." "Elena." "I know. Whole valley knows." Martha set down cups. "They're saying terrible things about you and Mr. Thornfield." Elena's face flushed. "Those things aren't true." "I didn't think so, but people talk." "Let them." Martha smiled slightly. "You're braver than me." "Not brave, just tired of caring what others think." Bill Hendrix spoke up. "Bishop came by here last week. Said if I helped run you off, he'd cut me a deal on the water rights. Let me use Edmund's portion for cheap." "How cheap?" Marcus asked. $20 a year." Elena's eyes widened. "That water's worth 10 times that." "I know, but 20's better than nothing." "It's a trap," Marcus said. He gets you dependent on his generosity, then raises the price, or cuts you off if you don't do what he wants. Hendrik slumped in his chair. I know. I knew it when he said it. But I got 3 kids and a failing ranch. I'm desperate. Desperate men make mistakes, Elena said quietly. I know. I've been desperate too. Martha reached across the table, touched Elena's hand. What will you do with the land if you win? I don't know yet. I've never run a ranch. Will you stay in Montana? Elena hesitated, glanced at Marcus. I haven't decided. But you might. Maybe. Martha squeezed her hand. Then maybe we could be neighbors. Real neighbors. Not enemies. Something shifted in the room. Attention releasing. Bill stood. I'll spread the word. Tell the other ranchers Bishop's lying about the water. Won't stop all the trouble, but might stop some. Thank you, Elena said. They left an hour later. The ride back was quiet. Finally, Marcus spoke. That was smart. What you did back there. Which part? All of it. Showing the survey, offering to work together. You handled it better than I would have. Elena looked at him. You would have just punched him. Probably. She almost smiled. Violence isn't always the answer. Tell that to my fists. This time she did smile. Your fists have their moments. They rode in silence. Then Elena said, Martha asked if I'm staying. I heard. I didn't know what to say. Because you don't know. Because I do know. And it scares me. Marcus's hands tightened on the reins. What scares you? That I want to stay. That I'm building a life here. That I'm starting to care about people. She paused. That I care about you. The wagon hit a rut. Neither noticed. Elena. Don't. Just let me say this. She turned to face him. I came to Montana to marry a stranger. To build a life with someone I'd never met. That didn't scare me. But this scares me. Why? Because Edmund was safe. He was a transaction. Correspondence and agreements. No real feelings involved. But you... Her voice dropped. You're not safe. You're real. And real can hurt. Marcus pulled the wagon to a stop. Right there in the middle of the road. You think I'm not scared? He asked. Are you terrified? He turned to her. I watched Catherine die. Watched her slip away and couldn't do anything to stop it. Swore I'd never care about anyone like that again. Too much pain. And now you're here, in my house, at my table, in my head every waking moment. And yeah, it scares the hell out of me. Elena's eyes were bright. So what do we do? I don't know. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. They sat there. Wagon stopped, horses stamping impatiently. Finally, Elena laughed, soft and sad. We're a mess. Complete disaster. Both scared to care. Both caring anyway. Elena reached out, took his hand. What if we're scared together? Marcus looked at their joined hands. Rough blacksmith fingers and delicate pianist ones. They shouldn't fit. But they did. Yeah, he said quietly. Okay. They started moving again, still holding hands. When they got back to the cabin, Adelaide was waiting on the porch. Her face was grim. What's wrong? Elena asked, climbing down. Adelaide held up a letter. This came from the courthouse. Elena's stomach dropped. Already Bishop's response. No, something else. Adelaide handed it over. Elena read. Her face went pale. What? Marcus demanded. What does it say? Elena's voice shook. It's from the immigration office. They're investigating my status. Someone filed a complaint saying I entered the territory under false pretenses, that my marriage arrangement with Edmund was fraudulent. That's ridiculous, Marcus said. You have his letters, proof of the arrangement. It doesn't matter. Elena's hands trembled. If they rule against me, I can be deported, sent back to Russia. Who filed the complaint? Adelaide asked. Elena didn't need to look at the signature. She already knew. Garrett Bishop. The name hung in the air like poison. Marcus grabbed the letter. Read it himself. His face went dark. He can't do this. He can, Adelaide said. Immigration law is vague, especially for mail-order brides. If he convinces them Elena came here to defraud Edmund's estate, they'll send her back. But Edmund invited her. That's not fraud. Try proving that to a territorial immigration officer who's never met either of them. Elena sank onto the porch steps. He's going to win. He's going to take everything. No. Marcus crouched in front of her. We fight this too. How I'm fighting the land claim. Now I'm fighting to stay in the country. I can't fight on two fronts. You don't have to. I'll fight this one. Marcus. I mean it. I'll go to the immigration office. Show them the letters. Get statements from Adelaide, from the Hendricks, from anyone who knew Edmund's intentions. That's not enough. Then we make it enough. Adelaide cleared her throat. There is another option. They both looked at her. Marry him, Adelaide said, nodding at Marcus. You marry an American citizen, the immigration complaint disappears. You have automatic status. Elena's face flushed. I'm not marrying someone just to avoid deportation. Why not? You were willing to marry Edmund for the same reason. That was different. How? Elena stood. Paced. Because I didn't know Edmund. He was an arrangement. Marcus is... She stopped. Is what Adelaide pressed. Someone I care about, and I won't cheapen that by making it a transaction. Marcus stood too. Even if it saves you. Even then. He looked at her. Something in his expression shifted, softened. Okay. Okay. We do it your way. We fight both battles. We win both. And if we don't, then at least you'll leave knowing you fought for what you wanted. Elena's eyes filled. Marcus! The sound of horses interrupted. Multiple horses, coming fast. Marcus grabbed his rifle. Get inside. Not again, Elena muttered, but she moved toward the door. 6 riders appeared. Not Bishop's men. Town council members, led by Reverend Cotton. Cotton dismounted. He was a thin man, all angles and judgment. Mr. Thornfield, Miss Petrov, we need to talk. About, Marcus asked, rifle still in hand. About this situation. It's gone too far. What situation? Cotton gestured between Marcus and Elena. This, her living here. Unmarried. It's improper. We've been through this, Marcus said. And now there's an immigration complaint. Makes it official business. Town business. Since when? Since the town's reputation is at stake. We're a decent, God-fearing community. We can't have foreign women living in sin with our citizens. Elena stepped forward. I'm not living in sin. Marcus has been nothing but honorable. Then marry him, Cotton said simply. Make it proper. That's not your decision to make, Marcus growled. It is when it affects the whole town. Bishop's complaint raises questions. Questions about you, Miss Petrov. About your intentions. Your character. My character. Elena's voice rose. You don't know anything about my character. I know you arrived under suspicious circumstances. I know you're laying claim to land you have no right to. I know you're causing division and conflict. I'm causing it, or is Bishop causing it, and you're blaming me? Cotton's face reddened. Watch your tone, girl. I'm not a girl. I'm a woman fighting for her rights. Rights! Cotton laughed. You're a foreigner. You have no rights here. Marcus stepped between them. Careful, Reverend. Or what you'll shoot a man of God. I'll remove a man who's trespassing on my property. Cotton looked past Marcus to Elena. We're giving you a choice, Miss Petrov. Marry Thornfield and make this proper. Or leave Montana. We'll even pay for your passage east. I'm not leaving. Then marry him. That's not your business. It is when it's destroying our community. Adelaide spoke up. The only thing destroying your community is your hypocrisy. You claim to be Christian, but you're trying to force a woman into marriage against her will. What would Jesus say about that? Cotton spun toward her. Don't I dare what? Point out your failures. You're supposed to be a spiritual leader. Instead, you're Bishop's puppet. Does he pay you, or does he just threaten you? Cotton's face went purple. How dare you? Leave, Marcus said. Cold, final. All of you, now. We're not done. Marcus cocked the rifle. Yeah, you are. For a moment, no one moved. Then Cotton remounted. You're making enemies, Thornfield. Powerful ones. This won't end well for either of you. Noted. Now get off my land. The council rode away. Elena was shaking. Not from fear, from rage. They can't do this, she said. They can't force me to marry or leave. They can try, Adelaide said grimly. Marcus set down his rifle. How long do we have on the immigration complaint? Elena checked the letter again. Hearing in 2 weeks. And the land claim? Bishop has 27 days left to respond. So we have 2 weeks to prepare for the immigration hearing and 4 weeks for the land claim. While Bishop does everything he can to destroy us. Adelaide stood. Then we'd better get started. Over the next week, they worked nonstop. Adelaide gathered statements from people who knew Edmund, who'd handled his mail, who could testify to his intentions. Marcus contacted a lawyer in Billings. Expensive, but necessary. The man promised to help with the immigration case. Elena studied Montana law, read everything she could find about land claims and immigration status. They barely slept. One night, Marcus found Elena at the table, 2 a.m, surrounded by papers. You need to rest, he said. Can't. Too much to do. You're going to collapse. Then I collapse after we win. Marcus sat across from her. Elena. She looked up. Her eyes were red, exhausted. What if we don't win? She asked quietly. We will. But what if we don't? What if Bishop wins the land claim? What if immigration deports me? What if all of this is for nothing? Marcus reached across the table, took her hand. Then at least we tried. That's not enough. It has to be, because it's all we've got. Elena's eyes filled. I'm so tired, Marcus. Tired of fighting. Tired of being strong. Then don't be strong tonight. Just be tired. I'll be strong for both of us. She laughed through tears. How do you do that? Do what? Say exactly what I need to hear. Practice. Lots of practice. She stood, came around the table, and before either of them could think, she hugged him. Marcus froze. Then his arms came around her, held her tight. They stood there, kitchen lit by a single lamp, world sleeping around them. Thank you, Elena whispered into his shirt. For what? For not giving up on me. Never. She pulled back, looked up at him. They were close, too close. Elena's breath caught. Marcus's hand came up, cupped her face. Elena, he whispered. Don't, she breathed. If you kiss me now, everything changes. Maybe it should. We're in the middle of a fight. We can't. Can't what? Care about each other too late. I already do. Marcus. He kissed her, soft, careful, like she was something precious. Elena melted into it. Her hands gripped his shirt, pulled him closer. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. Well, Elena said shakily, that was A mistake, Marcus asked. I was going to say, inevitable. He smiled, actually smiled. Yeah, it was. What do we do now? Keep fighting, keep living, see what happens. That's not a plan. It's the only one I've got. Elena laughed, tired but genuine. We're terrible at this. At what? Everything, fighting, planning, relationships. Good thing we're doing it together then. She kissed him again, harder this time. When they broke apart, she said, if Bishop finds out about this, he'll use it against us. Let him try. Marcus, I'm done hiding, done pretending. You want to build a life here, build it with me. Elena's heart hammered. That's a big ask. I know. We barely know each other. We know enough. Do we? Marcus pulled back slightly, looked at her, really looked. I know you're brave and stubborn, and you'd rather freeze to death than give up your freedom. I know you take your coffee black and you hum Russian songs when you think no one's listening. I know you're terrified of failing, but more terrified of not trying. I know you make me want to be better than I am. Elena's eyes filled again. That's not fair. What? Saying things like that, making me want impossible things. Who says they're impossible? Reality, law, Bishop, the whole damn territory. Screw them. Elena laughed through tears. Very eloquent. I mean it. Screw all of them. Build the life you want. With who you want. Let the world catch up. And if it doesn't, then we deal with it. Together. Elena kissed him again. Softer this time. Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. They stood there, holding each other. Kitchen getting cold around them. Finally Marcus said, You should sleep. So should you. In a bit. Elena pulled away reluctantly. Good night, Marcus. Good night, Elena. She went to her room, closed the door, leaned against it, and smiled. Then reality crashed back. 2 weeks until the immigration hearing, 3 weeks until Bishop's deadline, and now, on top of everything else, she was falling in love with Marcus Thornfield. Perfect timing. Absolutely perfect. The immigration hearing was scheduled for Monday morning. Sunday night, Elena couldn't eat. You need food? Marcus said, pushing a plate toward her. I need to not throw up tomorrow. You'll be fine. How do you know? Because you're the most stubborn person I've ever met, and stubborn people don't lose. Despite everything, Elena smiled. That's not how the law works. Sure it is. You just have to out-stubborn the judge. Adelaide walked in carrying more documents. I got 3 more statements. Mrs. Chen from the dry goods store, the postmaster, and old Tom Bailey who used to deliver Edmund's mail. Will it be enough? Elena asked. It'll have to be. Marcus stood. I'm going with you tomorrow. You don't have to. I'm going. Elena didn't argue. Truth was, she wanted him there, needed him there. That night she couldn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Russia, about her father's house, the arranged marriage she'd fled. If she was deported, she'd go back to all of that. Worse, actually. Her father would never forgive the shame, never let her forget she'd failed. A knock on her door. Yeah. Marcus opened it, stood in the doorway. Can't sleep either. No. Want company? Elena sat up. That's probably not appropriate. We're past appropriate. He came in, sat on the edge of her bed, careful, respectful. Tell me about Russia, he said. Why? Because if I know what you're running from, I'll know what we're fighting for. Elena pulled her knees to her chest. My father was a minor noble. Not important, but wealthy enough to have expectations. He arranged for me to marry Count Volkov, 63 years old, 3 dead wives, known for his temper. Marcus's jaw clenched. He hit women, among other things, but he had money and title. That's all my father cared about. So you ran. I stole money from my father's desk, bought passage to New York, worked in a garment factory for 6 months, saved enough to answer Edmund's ad. She looked at Marcus. I thought Montana would be my escape. Instead, it's become my fight. Regret it. Coming here, no. Never. She reached out, took his hand. Even with everything, even with Bishop and the hearings and the town council, I don't regret it. Even if you lose tomorrow. Even then. Because at least I chose this. In Russia, I had no choices. Here, even when things are hard, they're mine. Marcus squeezed her hand. You're not going to lose. You can't promise that. Watch me. He stood, pulled her up with him. Come on. Where? Kitchen. I'm making you tea, and you're going to tell me every detail of the case. We're going to prepare until you can recite it in your sleep. They spent the next 4 hours going over everything. Every document, every statement, every possible question the immigration officer might ask. By the time dawn came, Elena's voice was hoarse, but her mind was sharp. Ready? Marcus asked. No, but let's go anyway. The immigration office was in the same building as the courthouse. Smaller room, less formal, but somehow more intimidating. The officer was a man named Wesley Grant. Middle-aged, bored expression. He looked at Elena like she was a problem to be solved. Miss Petrov, please sit. Elena sat. Marcus stood behind her. Adelaide beside her. Grant opened a file. You entered Montana Territory in November under the pretense of marrying Edmund Walsh, correct? Yes, sir. Mr. Walsh died before the marriage could take place. Yes, sir. And now you're claiming rights to his land. I'm claiming what was promised to me, what he intended for me to have. Grant's expression didn't change. Intention and law are different things. I have documentation, letters proving his intentions. I've seen the letters. They prove he invited you. They don't prove the arrangement was legal. Elena's stomach dropped. What do you mean? Mail-order marriages exist in a gray area. Some states recognize them. Montana Territory hasn't established clear precedent, which means your status here is questionable. She entered legally, Adelaide interrupted. She had proper documentation, train tickets, entry papers. To marry a man who's now dead. Without that marriage, her reason for being here is void. Marcus stepped forward. She's been here for months, working, contributing to the community. Illegally, without proper residency status. That's not true. Mr. Thornfield. Grant's voice was ice. Please don't interrupt again. Marcus's hands clenched, but he stepped back. Grant returned his attention to Elena. I've reviewed the complaint filed by Mr. Garrett Bishop. He alleges you came to Montana to defraud Mr. Walsh's estate, that you never intended to marry him, that you're an opportunist using mail-order bride laws to steal land. Elena's temper flared. That's a lie, every word. Do you have proof? I have Edmund's letters, inviting me, promising marriage. Written correspondence isn't proof of intent. You could have deceived him. Why would I travel 2,000 miles to deceive a man I'd never met? That's what I'm trying to determine. Adelaide pulled out the statements. We have witnesses, people who knew Edmund, who can testify to his intentions. Grant glanced at them. Barely. Hearsay. None of these people were present during your correspondence. Then what would satisfy you? Elena demanded. Proof of legal marriage, or proof of legal residency through other means. She could marry an American citizen, Marcus said suddenly. Grant looked at him. Are you offering? Marcus didn't hesitate. Yes. Elena spun around. Marcus, no. Yes, he repeated, looking at Grant. I'm offering. We marry today. Problem solved. That's not how this works, Grant said. Marriage of convenience to avoid immigration consequences is fraud. It's not convenience, it's— Marcus stopped. It's what Mr. Thornfield— Marcus looked at Elena. It's real. Grant raised an eyebrow. Real? You've known each other how long? Long enough. That's not an answer. 4 months, Elena said quietly. We've known each other 4 months. And you expect me to believe a marriage between you would be legitimate? It would be. Convenient timing, though, right before your hearing. Adelaide stood. Officer Grant, with respect, you're not here to judge the legitimacy of their relationship. You're here to determine Miss Petrov's immigration status, which depends on her reason for being in Montana. If that reason is fraudulent— It's not fraudulent, Marcus interrupted. She came to marry Edmund Walsh. He died. Circumstances changed. That doesn't make her a criminal. It makes her status unclear. Then clarify it. What does she need to do? Grant closed the file. Return to Russia. Apply for proper immigration through legal channels. Come back in a year, maybe 2, if her application is approved. Elena felt the room tilt. A year? Possibly longer. Immigration quotas are tight, especially for Russian nationals. I can't go back to Russia. That's not my concern. It should be. Elena's voice rose. I fled an abusive situation. Going back puts me in danger. Then you should have thought of that before entering under false pretenses. They weren't false. Grant stood. I'm recommending deportation. You have 30 days to arrange travel. If you're still in Montana territory after that, you'll be arrested. Silence crashed down. Elena couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Marcus's voice was deadly quiet. There has to be another way. There is. Marriage. But it has to be legitimate. No fraud. And frankly, Mr. Thornfield, I don't believe a 4-month acquaintance constitutes legitimate basis for marriage. Then what would convince you? Grant considered. Time. Proof of genuine relationship. Public acknowledgement. Community support. He looked at Elena. Can you provide those things? In 30 days? No. That's the point. You can't. Which means your only option is to leave. He walked out. Elena sat frozen. Marcus was already moving toward the door. Where are you going? Adelaide asked. To find a solution. Marcus. But he was gone. Adelaide sat beside Elena. Breathe. I can't. I can't go back to Russia. I can't. Then we find another way. What way? You heard him. I have 30 days. 30 days is a lot of time. Not enough. Adelaide took her hands. Listen to me. You've survived worse than this. You escaped Russia. You survived a blizzard. You faced down Garrett Bishop. You can survive this too. How? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. Marcus came back 2 hours later. Elena was still at the courthouse, sitting on the steps. Numb. He sat beside her. I talked to the lawyer. And he says Grant's interpretation is harsh but legal. Immigration law is vague. Officers have a lot of discretion. So I'm done. No. He says there's a loophole. Elena looked at him. What loophole? Montana territory has common law marriage provisions. If we can prove we've been living as husband and wife, the marriage is legally recognized, even without a ceremony. But we haven't been living as husband and wife. Haven't we? You've been in my house. We share meals, work together. Everyone in town assumes we're together anyway. Assuming isn't proof. It is if we have witnesses. If people testify we've been acting as a married couple. Elena shook her head. That's fraud. Exactly what Grant warned against. It's not fraud if it's true. But it's not true. We only kissed 2 days ago. Marcus took her hand. Elena, look at me. She did. I'm not suggesting this to trick the system, he said. I'm suggesting it because it's what I want. Have wanted for weeks, maybe longer. You want to marry me? Yeah, I do. Because of the immigration case. Because I care about you. The immigration case just made me admit it faster. Elena's eyes filled. Marcus, we can't. Why not? Because marriage should be about love, not desperation. Who says it's not both? She stared at him. You're serious? Completely. We barely know each other. I know enough. I know you're brave and stubborn and you'd rather die than give up. I know you make terrible coffee but excellent soup. I know you hum when you're nervous and you're left-handed, even though you try to hide it. I know you're terrified of being owned but desperate to belong. I know you make me want to be better than I am. That's the second time you've said that. It's still true. Elena wiped her eyes. This is insane. Probably. We could fail. Grant might not believe us. We might succeed. And if we do, then what? We're actually married. Would that be so terrible? Elena laughed, wet and broken. I don't know. Ask me when I'm not facing deportation. Marcus stood, pulled her up. I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to answer honestly. Okay. Do you want to stay in Montana? Yes. Do you want to fight for this land? Yes. Do you want... He paused. Do you want me... Elena's breath caught. That's not fair. Answer anyway. She looked at him, really looked, at his gray eyes and scarred hands, and the way he stood like he could take on the world. Yes, she whispered. I want you. Then marry me. Not for immigration. Not for the land. Marry me because we both want this. Because we're both tired of being alone. Because maybe, just maybe, we can build something real together. And if it doesn't work, then at least we tried. Elena closed her eyes, thought about Russia, about Count Volkov and her father and the life she'd fled. Thought about Edmund's letters, about the hope they'd given her. Thought about Marcus, about his quiet strength and fierce protection and the way he made her feel safe and seen. She opened her eyes. Okay. Okay. Let's get married. Marcus's face broke into a smile, genuine, unguarded. Yeah. But we do it right. No fraud, no tricks. We get married because we choose to, and we make it real. How? We tell the truth. To Grant, to the town, to everyone. We tell them we're getting married because we care about each other. Let them judge whether it's legitimate. That's risky. Everything about this is risky. Marcus pulled her close, kissed her, hard. When? Soon as possible, before I lose my nerve. They went to see Adelaide. She was at the general store organizing inventory. We need your help, Marcus said. Adelaide looked up, saw their faces. What happened? We're getting married, Elena said. Adelaide dropped the box she was holding. What? Tomorrow. We need a witness. Tomorrow, Elena. Are you sure? No. But I'm doing it anyway. Adelaide looked between them. This is because of the immigration case. Partly, Marcus admitted, but not entirely. If Grant thinks you're faking, it'll make things worse. We're not faking, Elena said. We're just moving faster than we would have otherwise. Adelaide was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. Okay, I'll witness. But you're doing this proper, not some rushed courthouse thing. A real ceremony. We don't have time. We have a day. That's enough. Adelaide was already moving, grabbing her coat. You need a dress. Marcus needs a suit. We need flowers and food and witnesses. Adelaide, we can't. Yes, you can. Because this town has spent months judging you, gossiping. Now they get to see you're serious. That you're building a life here, together. Marcus and Elena exchanged looks. She's right, Marcus said. We do this publicly. Prove it's real. Okay, Elena agreed. But nothing fancy. Simple. Honest. Simple I can do. Adelaide headed for the door. Be at the church tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Don't be late. She left them standing in the store. Elena turned to Marcus. Are we really doing this? Looks like it. I don't have a dress. Adelaide will find one. I don't know what to say. For vows. We'll figure it out. Elena laughed, nervous. We're getting married tomorrow and we're figuring it out. That's been our approach to everything so far. Why stop now? She kissed him. Soft. Sweet. Don't let me run. Where would you go? I don't know. But if I panic, don't let me run. Marcus held her face in his hands. I won't let you run. I won't let you fall. I won't let anything happen to you. That's a promise. That's a big promise. I'm a big promiser. Elena smiled through tears. That's not a word. Is now. They spent the rest of the day preparing. Marcus cleaned the cabin. Elena wrote vows, crossed them out, wrote new ones. That night they sat on the porch, not touching, just sitting. Scared? Marcus asked. Terrified. Me too. But still doing it. Yeah. You? Yeah. They sat in silence. Stars came out. Cold bit through their coats. Finally, Elena spoke. What if we're making a mistake? Then we unmake it. But I don't think we are. How do you know? Because for the first time since Catherine died, I feel alive. Like the world has color again. You did that. Elena's throat tightened. Marcus. No, let me finish. He turned to her. I loved Catherine. Still do in a way. But that was a different life, a different me. You make me want to be someone new, someone better. And maybe that's not love yet. Maybe it will be. But it's something. And something is worth fighting for. Elena took his hand. What if I can't be what you need? What if you already are? They sat there, holding hands, breathing cold air. Tomorrow they'd get married. Tomorrow everything would change. But tonight they were just Marcus and Elena. Two people who'd found each other in a snowstorm and decided to weather everything else together. Morning came too fast. Adelaide arrived at dawn with a dress. Simple cream-colored wool, practical but pretty. Where did you get this? Elena asked. Martha Hendricks. It was her wedding dress. She wanted you to have it. Elena's eyes filled. She did. Half the valley's been talking. Some are angry. But some like Martha think it's romantic. Russian girl and the blacksmith against the odds. We're not romantic. We're desperate. Same thing sometimes. Adelaide helped her into the dress. It fit perfectly. You look beautiful. Elena looked at herself in the small mirror. She did look different. Softer somehow. I'm getting married, she said, testing the words. Yes, you are. To Marcus Thornfield. Yes. This is real. Very real. Elena sat on the bed. Adelaide, what if I'm making a mistake? Are you? I don't know. Everything's happening so fast. Adelaide sat beside her. My husband proposed to me 3 days after we met. Everyone said we were crazy, that it wouldn't last. We had 20 years together. Best 20 years of my life. She took Elena's hand. Sometimes fast is right. Sometimes you just know. Do you think I know? I think you're here, in a wedding dress. That's answer enough. The church was small. Reverend Cotton had refused to perform the ceremony, said it was a sham, so Adelaide had found a justice of the peace, old man named Samuel Cross. When Elena arrived, the church was full. Not just full, packed. Martha Hendricks was there with her family, the postmaster, Mrs. Chen, even some of the ranchers who'd complained. And at the front, Marcus stood waiting. He wore a suit, clean-shaven, hair combed. He looked terrified and determined in equal measure. Elena walked down the aisle. No music, no flowers, just her and Adelaide and a church full of witnesses. She reached Marcus. He took her hand. You came. he whispered. Did you think I wouldn't? Little bit. I'm here. Yeah, you are. Samuel Cross cleared his throat. We're gathered here to witness the marriage of Marcus Thornfield and Elena Petrov. Anyone object, speak now. Silence. Then the church door opened. Garrett Bishop walked in. Every head turned. I object, Bishop said calmly. Marcus's hand tightened on Elena's. On what grounds? Fraud. This marriage is designed to circumvent immigration law. It's illegal. It's not fraud, Marcus said. Prove it. Samuel Cross looked uncomfortable. Mr. Bishop, unless you have legal standing. I have a complaint filed with the Territorial Immigration Office. This marriage is fraudulent, and I can prove it. Elena's stomach dropped. How? Bishop smiled, pulled out papers. I have statements from townspeople testifying that you and Thornfield only started courting last week, that this marriage is a direct response to the immigration hearing. That doesn't make it fraudulent, Marcus argued. It shows motive. It shows intent to deceive. Samuel looked at Marcus and Elena. Is this true? Did you only recently begin courting? Marcus opened his mouth. Elena spoke first. Yes, she said clearly. It's true. We only recently acknowledged our feelings, but that doesn't mean they weren't there before. Convenient, Bishop sneered. Elena turned to face the congregation. You all know my story. I came here to marry Edmund Walsh. He died before we could meet. I had nothing. Marcus gave me shelter, food, safety. He didn't have to. He chose to. And somewhere between the snow and the silence, I started to care about him. Not because I needed him, because I wanted to. She looked at Marcus. He makes me laugh. He makes me think. He makes me want to be braver than I am. Is that love? I don't know, but it's real. And marrying him isn't about immigration or land or any of Bishop's schemes. It's about choosing to build a life with someone who sees me, really sees me, not as a foreigner or a burden or a scandal, but as Elena. The church was silent. Then Martha Hendricks stood. I believe her. One by one, others stood. The postmaster, Mrs. Chen, even some of the ranchers. Bill Hendricks stood last. I shot at this woman, tried to scare her off, but she came to my house, showed me the truth, made peace. That's not someone running a con. That's someone building a life. Bishop's face reddened. This is ridiculous. No. Samuel Cross spoke firmly. What's ridiculous is you disrupting a wedding, unless you have legal authority to stop this ceremony. Mr. Bishop, I suggest you leave. I have legal authority. Do you have it? A court order, an injunction. Bishop's jaw clenched. No. Then leave, or I'll have you removed. For a long moment, Bishop didn't move. Then he turned, walked out. But at the door, he stopped. This isn't over Thornfield, not by a long shot. The door slammed. Samuel Cross turned back to Marcus and Elena. Now, where were we? The ceremony continued. Simple vows, honest promises. Marcus spoke first. I promise to give you space to grow, to never own you, to build with you, not for you, to be your partner, not your keeper. Elena's turn. I promise to stay, even when it's hard, to fight with you, not against you, to choose you every day, not because I have to, because I want to. Samuel smiled. By the power vested in me by Montana Territory, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss. Marcus kissed her, soft at first, then deeper. The church erupted in applause. When they broke apart, Elena was crying. We did it. Yeah, we did. We're married. Officially. What now? Marcus grinned. Now we go home and start building that life you talked about. They walked out of the church, hand in hand, husband and wife. And for the first time in months, Elena felt something she'd almost forgotten. Hope. The celebration lasted until dark. People brought food, music. Laughter filled the church hall for the first time in months. But Marcus kept watching the door, waiting for Bishop to come back. "He won't return tonight," Adelaide said, appearing beside him with coffee. "Too many witnesses. He'll come eventually." "Yes, but not today. Today you celebrate." Marcus looked across the room where Elena was talking with Martha Hendricks. She was smiling, actually smiling. He'd never seen her look so relaxed. "She's happy," Adelaide observed. "For now. Take the win, Marcus. You earned it." They left as the sun set, rode home in the wagon, quiet, neither speaking. Finally, Elena broke the silence. "We're married." "Yep." "Legally married." "That's generally how it works." "Marcus." He glanced at her. "Yeah. What happens now? What do you want to happen?" Elena looked down at her hands. "I don't know. We got married to solve a problem, but now we're actually married. To each other." "Regrets already?" "No, just confused." Marcus pulled the wagon to a stop, right there in the middle of the road. Again. "Elena, look at me." She did. "I married you because I wanted to," he said. "Not just to solve the immigration case. I wanted to. Do you understand that?" "I think so. Do you want to be married to me?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, but I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of wanting this too much, of it being taken away, of failing again." Marcus reached over, took her hand. "We're going to fail. Probably a lot. We're going to fight and make mistakes and wonder what the hell we were thinking. But we're going to do it together. That's what marriage means." "You make it sound simple." "It's not. But it's worth it." Elena squeezed his hand. "What if Bishop—" "We'll deal with Bishop. Together." They reached the cabin. Marcus helped her down from the wagon. They stood there, awkward suddenly. "Do we—" Elena started. "Do we what?" "I don't know. What do married people do on their wedding night?" Marcus laughed. Couldn't help it. "I don't know either. It's been a while." "How long?" "Catherine died 3 years ago. We were married for 5 before that." "You loved her?" "Yeah, I did." Elena looked up at him. "Do you think you could love me?" Marcus cupped her face. "I think I'm already starting to." He kissed her, soft, then harder. Elena's hands gripped his shirt, pulled him closer. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "Inside," Marcus said. "Now." They stumbled through the door, couldn't keep their hands off each other. Elena's coat hit the floor. Marcus's jacket followed. They made it to the bedroom. Barely. Later, lying in the dark, Elena's head on Marcus's chest, she spoke quietly. "That was different than I expected." "Different how?" "In Russia, they tell women marriage is duty, obligation, something to endure. That wasn't what this was." Marcus ran his fingers through her hair. "What was it? Choice, partnership, want." She looked up at him. "Thank you." "For what?" "For making me feel chosen, not owned." Marcus kissed her forehead. "Always chosen, never owned." They fell asleep, tangled together. For the first time in years, Marcus didn't dream of Catherine. He dreamed of Elena. Of building a life, of choosing each other every day. Morning shattered that peace. Someone was pounding on the door, hard, urgent. Marcus grabbed his rifle. "Stay here." "Like hell." Elena pulled on her robe, followed him out. Adelaide was on the porch. Her face was bleeding, dress torn. "Jesus!" Marcus pulled her inside. "What happened?" "Bishop!" Adelaide was shaking. "He came to the store, after midnight, broke in, Said I helped you commit fraud. Said he'd make me pay. Elena grabbed a cloth, started cleaning Adelaide's face. Did he? No, I got away, ran here. Adelaide winced as Elena touched a cut. But he burned it. The store. Everything. Marcus's blood went cold. He burned your store. To the ground. I barely got out. Elena's hands were shaking now. We need to get the sheriff. Sheriff's in Bishop's pocket, Adelaide said bitterly. He'll say I started it. An accident. He'll protect Bishop. Then we go to Judge Morrison, Marcus said. He's in Billings, 2 days away. We have to do something. The door burst open. 3 men. Bishop's hired guns, including Cobb. Marcus raised the rifle. Get out. Cobb held up his hands. Easy. We're not here for trouble. You just broke into my house. Because we need to talk. Fast. Before Bishop finds us. Marcus didn't lower the rifle. Talk. Cobb glanced at his companions. Bishop's planning something. Tonight. Something bad. Define bad. He's going to burn this place too, with you and Elena inside. Make it look like an accident, like Adelaide's store. Elena's face went pale. He wouldn't. He would. He's done it before. 3 ranches, 2 families. All accidents according to the sheriff. All people who got in Bishop's way. Marcus's grip tightened on the rifle. Why are you telling us? Because I signed up to intimidate people, not murder them. Cobb looked at Elena. You were right. That day you asked if I'd let someone force my wife. You got in my head, made me think. So what, you're helping us now. We're warning you. That's all we can do without Bishop killing us too. When? Marcus asked. When is he coming? Tonight, after dark. He'll bring more men, 6 at least. You can't fight that many. Watch me. Marcus. Elena grabbed his arm. We can't stay here. We have to run. Run where he'll just follow. Keep coming. Then we fight smart, not hard. Marcus looked at her. What are you thinking? Elena turned to Cobb. Where's Bishop now? His ranch, gathering men. How many people know about the plan? Just his inner circle. 6 men plus Bishop. Elena's mind was racing. Marcus could see it. Elena, what? We don't run, she said. We expose him, tonight, in front of everyone. How? We throw a party. Marcus stared. A what? A party. A reception. For our marriage. Invite the whole town. Fill this cabin with witnesses. Bishop can't burn a house full of people. Adelaide caught on. And while everyone's here, we present evidence. Show them what Bishop's been doing. What evidence? Marcus asked. Cobb spoke up. I have records, ledgers. Bishop kept them in his office. Proof of bribes, payments to the sheriff, documentation of the ranch fires. He pulled out a folded paper. I copied some before we left. Not everything, but enough. Marcus took the paper, read it. His face went dark. This is confession. Murder, arson, fraud. Yeah. And if it goes public, Bishop's done. Elena grabbed Marcus's hand. We do this tonight. Before Bishop realizes we know. We gather everyone. Show them the truth. That's insane. So is everything else we've done. Marcus looked at Adelaide. Can you spread word that fast? I can try. Most folks are still talking about the wedding anyway. Then do it. Marcus turned to Cobb. You 3, you're staying here. If this is a trap, it's not, I swear. If it is, you die first. Cobb nodded. Understood. The next hours were chaos. Adelaide rode through town, spreading word of a wedding celebration. Elena cooked everything she could find. Marcus prepared the cabin, set up tables, chairs, lanterns, and weapons. Hidden, just in case. By 6 o'clock, people started arriving. The Hendricks family, Mrs. Chen, the postmaster. Even Reverend Cotton came, curious despite himself. By 7, the cabin was packed, spilling out onto the porch, into the yard. By 8, nearly the whole town was there. Elena stood on a chair, raised her voice. Thank you all for coming. Marcus and I wanted to celebrate our marriage with the community, with our neighbors. Murmurs of approval, some genuine, some suspicious. Marcus stepped forward. We also wanted to share something important. Elena held up Cobb's papers. These are records from Garrett Bishop's office. They show bribes paid to Sheriff Coleman. Payments made before and after suspicious fires. Documentation of threats made to families who opposed him. The room went silent. Reverend Cotton pushed forward. Let me see those. Elena handed them over. Cotton read. His face went ashen. This is... He trailed off. Real, Elena finished. Bishop's been using fear and violence to control this valley, to steal land, to silence opposition. These fires, Martha Hendricks said, reading over Cotton's shoulder. The Morrison Ranch, the Chen family's first store. These weren't accidents. No, they were Bishop, getting rid of competition. Someone in the crowd shouted, Where'd you get these? Cobb stepped forward. From me. I worked for Bishop, did things I'm not proud of, but I won't stand by while he murders innocent people. How do we know you're telling the truth? Another voice called. Because I'm here, risking my life. Bishop finds out I betrayed him, I'm dead. The crowd erupted, voices arguing, some believing, some doubting. Then the door opened. Garrett Bishop walked in. Behind him, 5 armed men. The room went silent. Bishop smiled, looked around. Well, this is quite the gathering. Marcus stepped forward. Get out. But you invited the whole town. I'm part of the town. You're not welcome here. Bishop's eyes found the papers in Cotton's hand. His smile faded. I see you've been sharing stories. Not stories, truth. Truth, Bishop laughed. These are forgeries, lies spread by criminals. He pointed at Cobb. That man is a thief, stole from me, made up false documents to cover his crimes. That's not true, Cobb started. Bishop pulled his gun, shot him. Cobb went down, blood spreading across the floor. Women screamed, men shouted, chaos erupted. Marcus raised his rifle, but Bishop's men already had guns drawn, pointed at the crowd. Nobody move, Bishop ordered. Elena knelt beside Cobb. He was still breathing, barely. She pressed her hands to the wound. Someone help him. Bishop kicked her hands away. Let him die. He's a traitor. Marcus's rifle came up. Touch her again and you die. You shoot me. My men shoot everyone here. Is that what you want? A massacre? Marcus's jaw clenched, but he didn't lower the rifle. Bishop turned to the crowd. Here's what's going to happen. You're all going to forget what you saw tonight. Forget these fake documents. Forget this nonsense about fires. You're going to go home, live your lives, and stay out of my business. And if we don't? Bill Hendricks asked. Bishop pointed his gun at Martha. Then your wife dies first. Then your kids. Then you watch your ranch burn with your family inside. Bill's face went white. Elena stood, slowly. You can't kill everyone here, Bishop. There's too many witnesses. Can't I? 6 men, 6 guns. That's a lot of bullets. Not enough to silence the truth. Truth doesn't matter if no one's alive to tell it. Elena stepped forward, past Marcus, past the guns, walked right up to Bishop. Marcus's heart stopped. Elena, don't... She ignored him, looked Bishop in the eye. You're going to kill me now in front of all these people, including 3 children. Bishop's gun pressed against her chest. If I have to. Then do it. Pull the trigger. Show everyone what you really are. Elena? Marcus's voice cracked. She didn't look away from Bishop. You want to know why you'll never win. It's not because of law or justice or any of that. It's because you think fear is power. But it's not. Fear is just fear. And these people, she gestured to the crowd, they're tired of being afraid. They should be afraid. Why? Because you say so. Because you have guns. Elena's voice rose. You're one man. We're a community. You can hurt us, but you can't break us. Bishop's hand shook slightly. You think you're brave? You're just stupid. Maybe, but I'm not alone. Martha Hendricks stepped forward, stood beside Elena, then Bill, then Mrs. Chen, the postmaster. Adelaide bleeding but standing. One by one the crowd moved forward, surrounded Elena, formed a wall between her and Bishop's guns. Marcus's chest tightened. They were going to die, all of them, but they were going to die together, standing. Bishop looked around. His men were nervous. You could see it. 6 guns couldn't stop 50 people, not if they all moved at once. Last chance, Bishop said. Back down or die. Elena's voice was steady. Then we die. But you die with us. Because the moment you pull that trigger, these people will tear you apart. Silence stretched. Unbearable. Then Adelaide spoke. Quiet, but clear. My husband died saving 3 men in a mine collapse. Gave his life for others. If I die tonight stopping a murderer, I'm okay with that. Bill Hendricks. I've got kids. Want to see them grow up? But I want them growing up free, not afraid. Martha. I'm done living in fear. One by one voices joined, agreeing, standing. Bishop's gun wavered. His men were backing toward the door. He could see it too. This was over. He lowered the gun. Fine. You want to die for this land, have it. I'm done with Montana anyway. He stepped back. But you haven't won. You've just delayed the inevitable. Maybe, Elena said. But we'll keep delaying. Every day, for as long as it takes. Bishop turned, walked out. His men followed. All except Cobb, bleeding on the floor. The moment they were gone, people rushed to help. Elena got Cobb onto the table. Someone fetched the doctor. Marcus pulled Elena aside. Are you insane? He could have killed you. But he didn't. He could have, but he didn't. Because bullies are cowards, and cowards break when you refuse to. Marcus grabbed her shoulders. Don't ever do that again. Do what? Risk your life like that. I risk my life every day, just by existing. At least tonight I did it for something that mattered. Marcus pulled her close, held her tight. You're going to give me a heart attack. Probably, but you married me anyway. Worst decision of my life. Best decision of mine. They held each other while chaos swirled around them. Doctor working on Cobb, people arguing, planning, deciding what to do next. Adelaide appeared. We need to move fast, get these documents to Judge Morrison, before Bishop destroys the originals. I'll go, Marcus said. We'll go, Elena corrected. Together. They left at dawn, rode hard for Billings. Made it in record time. Judge Morrison read the documents carefully. This is damning, but it's copies. We need the originals. They're in Bishop's office, Elena said. Then we need a warrant. Search his property. Get official evidence. How long will that take? Days, maybe a week. We don't have a week. Bishop knows we exposed him. He's probably destroying evidence right now. Morrison leaned back. Then we need to catch him in the act. Force him to reveal where he's hidden things. Marcus shook his head. He's too smart for that. Is he? Elena's eyes lit up. What if we made him think he won? What? We go back. Tell everyone Morrison rejected our evidence, that it wasn't enough. Let Bishop think he's safe, that he can go back to his office and destroy everything without suspicion. Morrison caught on. And I get deputies ready. When he goes for the evidence, we raid his office, catch him red-handed. Marcus looked at Elena. That's actually smart. I have my moments. They executed the plan perfectly. Rode back looking defeated. Spread word that Morrison dismissed their claims. Bishop bought it. Returned to his ranch that night. Confident. Morrison's deputies surrounded the property. Waited. At midnight, Bishop went to his office. Started burning papers. That's when they moved in. Caught him with ledgers in hand. Fireplace blazing. Evidence everywhere. Bishop tried to fight. Tried to run. They arrested him anyway. The trial lasted 2 weeks. Evidence was overwhelming. Witnesses lined up to testify. Even some of Bishop's former men turned on him. Guilty on all counts. Arson, bribery, attempted murder, 20 years in territorial prison. The day they took him away, Bishop looked at Elena one last time. You think you won? You're still just a foreign woman with no power. Without me, this valley will eat you alive. Elena met his eyes. Maybe. But I'll be standing when it does. Can you say the same? They dragged him away. Elena turned to Marcus. Is it really over? The legal part. The hard part's just starting. He was right. The next months were brutal. Learning to run Edmund's land, managing water rights, dealing with neighbors who still didn't trust her. But Elena didn't give up. She hired workers, learned ranching from Adelaide, made deals with other ranchers. By spring, the land was producing. Not much, but something. By summer, she'd turned a small profit. By fall, people stopped calling her the Russian girl and started calling her Mrs. Thornfield. Marcus expanded this blacksmith shop, started teaching apprentices, including 2 Chinese immigrants and a Mexican boy whose family had nowhere else to go. Their cabin became a gathering place. For outcasts. For immigrants. For anyone who needed a second chance. One evening, a year after their wedding, they sat on the porch, watching the sun set over land that was theirs. We did it, Elena said quietly. Did what? Built something. Something real. Marcus took her hand. We're just getting started. I know, but it's nice to pause. Take stock. Stock of what? This. Us. A year ago, I was freezing to death in the snow. Tonight, I'm sitting on my own porch with my husband, talking about our land, our life. Our life. Marcus tested the words. I like the sound of that. Me too. They sat in silence, comfortable, easy. Then Elena spoke again. Adelaide asked me something today. What? She asked if I was happy. Are you? Elena thought about it, really thought. I'm tired, stressed, worried about money and crops and whether the winter will be as hard as last year. But yeah, I'm happy. Good. Are you? Marcus pulled her close, kissed her head. Yeah, I am. Even though I'm stubborn and difficult and I argue with you constantly. Especially because of that. Elena laughed. We're a mess. Best kind of mess. 2 years later, they had their first child, a daughter. They named her Adelaide Catherine Thornfield, after the 2 women who'd made their lives possible. 3 years after that, a son, Edmund Marcus Thornfield. The cabin got crowded. They built an addition, then another. Elena started a school, teaching immigrant children to read and write, English and their native languages. Marcus trained 15 apprentices. Half of them opened their own shops in neighboring towns. The valley changed, slowly. More immigrants arrived, Chinese, Mexican, Russian. They found work, found community, found home. 10 years after Elena had nearly frozen to death in the snow, she stood at the same spot Marcus had found her. It was spring now, wildflowers blooming. Marcus came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist. What are you thinking? About that night. How scared I was. How hopeless everything seemed. And now? Now I'm thinking about our daughter starting school, our son learning to ride, the new family moving in next door from Poland. How full our life has become. Marcus turned her around. Regrets? About what? Coming to Montana, marrying a dead man, nearly dying, fighting Bishop, all of it. Elena looked up at him, at the gray hair starting to show in his beard, the laugh lines around his eyes, the hands that had built their life together. Not one, she said. Not a single one. Even the hard parts. Especially the hard parts. They made me who I am. Marcus kissed her, still soft after all these years. I love you. I love you too. They walked back to the cabin, hand in hand, their children's laughter drifting through the open windows. Elena paused at the door, looked back at the land stretching before them, land she'd fought for, bled for, claimed as her own. And she thought about the girl who'd stepped off a train in November, terrified and alone, with $43 and a dream of freedom. That girl would be proud of the woman she'd become. That girl would understand that freedom wasn't given. It was built, day by day, choice by choice, fight by fight. And she'd understand that sometimes the best things in life come from the hardest winters. Sometimes you have to nearly freeze to death to find out what warmth really means. Sometimes you have to lose everything to discover what's worth fighting for. And sometimes, just sometimes, a woman nobody wanted becomes exactly who she was always meant to be. Not because someone saved her, but because she learned to save herself, and then chose to build something bigger than survival. Something like home, like family, like love that grows from snow and silence into something wild and warm and entirely her own. Elena Thornfield had come to Montana to marry a stranger. Instead, she'd married herself. Married her own courage, her own stubborn refusal to be broken. Everything else was just details, good details, hard-won and precious, but details nonetheless. The real story was simpler. A woman who refused to be owned finally learned what it meant to belong, not to a man, not to a place, but to herself. And in belonging to herself, she found room to belong to others, to Marcus, to her children, to the community they'd built from nothing but will and work and the absolute refusal to quit. She walked through her door, into her home, into her life, and she never looked back at the snow.